All right, so we've got fractions and decimals. Again, we're going to put that on page 3 or 4, loose leaf paper if you need more room. And looking at recognizing simple fractions or decimals. Really important topic here. It makes chemistry as well as quite a few other things quite a bit quicker when you can recognize these things and convert back and forth. So you see objective point 3a here, convert simple fractions and decimals and vice versa. Really comes up quite a bit in science, and it also comes up when you take the ACT, so this is going to be really helpful for us. So we're looking at first 1 over 2, 1/2, and we want to be able to put that as a decimal. So here we're going to look at it with long division. So to do that, you're going to put 2 on the outside, divided, and then 1. So we're going to use long division here to kind of get some help. So we see that 2 can't go into 1. 2 is larger than 1, so you have to add another decimal place and then go from there. Then 2 goes into 10. Bring up that decimal where it's at. Goes into 10 5 times. Then, again, this isn't anything new. You should have know this from before. 2 times 5 is 10. And no remainder, so 0.5 is my answer. If you put that in the calculator, 1 divided by 2, you should get 0.5. And if you're thinking about half of a dollar, what's half of a dollar? Well, that's going to be 50 cents, so 0.50, 50 cents. All right. Going right along, we've got 1/4. Again, quickly do that with long division. So we've got 4, 1. Again, 4 is not going to go into 1, so add a 0. 4 can go into 10 how many times? Bring up that decimal. So we've got, it can go in twice. 2 times 4 is 8, which leaves me a remainder of 2. Still not done, so I've got to bring down my 0 here. And then ask, how many times can 4 go into 20, which is going to be 5. 4 times 5 is 20, which gives me 0 remainder. So there's my answer there, 0.25. And type that in the calculator. 1 divided by 4, 1/4, is going to be 0.25. Again, a fourth of a dollar we're thinking, and that's going to be a quarter, right? 25 cents. So a quarter. Go on to 2/4, 2 over 4. What is 2 over 4? Well, we can do this real quick. We've got 4 into 2. We've got 0.0. 4 can go into 2 how many times? Or can go into 20, forgive me. Can go into 20 how many times? Well, that's going to be 5. Gives me 20 with 0 remainder. So there's my answer. You probably also are able to see we've got 2 over 4. Well, you can reduce that down if you remember back to a previous video. We can divide both of those by 2, reduce them by 2, gives us 1/2, which we just did a couple of seconds ago, which is 0.5. So again, right there. Then 2/4, if you've got 2/4, well, that's 50 cents, right? We already know that. That's something that's pretty common to us. Let's look at, say, 3/4. What's 3/4? And if we look at that in long division, we've got 4, 3. We've got to add that decimal. 4 goes into 30. That's going to be 7, which will be 4 times 7 is 28. Subtract those, and I've got 2 left over. Bring down another 0, and 4 times 5 can give me 20 here. So that'll give me the 0, which gives me 0.75. What's 3/4 of a dollar? Well, if you have 3/4, that gives you 75 cents. So 0.75 makes a lot of sense here. Then if we're looking at a fifth, 1/5, by long division, we're looking at that, and we're going to do 5 and 1. Can't do that, so add a 0. Bring up that decimal so that we know its place. 5 can go into 10 twice. So then 2 times 5, that's going to give us 10, 0 remainder. So 0.2 is going to be the decimal form of 1/5. If you put that in the calculator, you're going to get that same thing, 0.2, and 1/5 of a dollar is 20 cents. So if you have 5 20-cents, that gives you a whole dollar. Okay, and leads us into 2/5, 3/5, 4/5. What was 1/5 again? All right, it should be 0.2. So 1/5 is 0.2. So then if you've got 2/5, then 2/5 is going to be 0.4. 3/5 would be another fifth at 0.6, and then 4/5 would be 0.8. You seeing the pattern here? And then what about 5/5? What about 5 over 5? Well, you should remember either from prior knowledge or previous video that anything over itself is going to be 1. They cancel out. So 5/5 is 1. Same thing, you're thinking about it. If I've got 5/5 of a dollar, then I've got a whole dollar. All right. Then 1/3. Okay, 1/3. This one's going to be a little bit different because you probably already remember this if you hadn't remembered it previously. But we're going to do the long division real quick. So 3, 1. Got to add that decimal, and we're going to see 3 goes into 10. How many times will 3 times 3 gives me 9? So I can subtract that. That'll be 1. Then 0. Bring down the 0. And here's where it gets interesting because we got to do the same exact thing. 3 can go into 10 3 times, gives me 9. 1 dot dot dot. So it's going to continue going, and that's where you've got it 3 repeating. It'll be 0.333 all the way down. All right, and if you type that in the calculator, 1 divided by 3, you'll get just that, 0.333 all the way in to the end. And if you've got 1/3 of a dollar, we can't exactly do that because it'd be 33.333 cents all the way out, and so we just have to round it to 33 cents, but that's not exactly correct. Okay, so 1/3 is 0.3 repeating though, and with that, then reducing those fractions, we've seen this a little bit elsewhere, but if we've got 4/16, then we got to figure out what can we divide both of those by. And here I see that I can divide both of those by 4, and since 4 over 4 is just 1, we're not actually changing the number at all, but that'll give me 1/4. And then once you see that, then if I needed to get it to a decimal, then 1/4 you should already know is 0.25. Again, none of this is new information. This should be things that you've seen already in previous classes. And we've got 4/10. If you aren't seeing it right off the bat and you see that, hey, I can divide by 2, you can definitely do that. Divide by 2, divide by 2. So we're going to reduce that. And 4 divided by 2 is 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. Okay, so that actually reduced down. I can't divide it by anything else. If I could, I'd have to do that. So 2/5. So what would that be as a decimal? Should be 0.4. Okay. Then 3/12. We're gonna reduce that down to get something that can be more manageable for us. Divide by 3 on both of those, and we've got 1/4, which we already know was 0.25. Okay. Questions so far? Make a note of them. Let me know in class. 18/45. So I'm just going to be really honest with you. When I'm doing something like this, I don't usually notice right off the bat what I can reduce the whole thing by, and that's totally fine. So let's see. I see that I can definitely divide, let's see. I think I divide both of them by 3. Okay, so divide both of them by 3. 18 divided by 3 is going to be 6, and then 45 divided by 3 is going to be 15. And then once I do that, then that's where it triggers, oh, okay, 6 and 15, I can divide both of those by 3 again. So I'm not quite done yet. Divide by 3 and divide by 3. That gives me 3/5. So then that is when I can trigger, like, okay, I know this one. 1/5 is 0.2. So then 0.6 would be 3/5. Right? So then in summary, we've got a half is 0.5, 1/3 is 0.3 repeating. That means that 2/3 is 0.6 repeating. 1/4 is 0.25, 0.5 for 2/4, 3/4. 1/5 is 0.2, and we can figure out the others from there. And then anything over itself, like we've seen before, is 1. They cancel out. Your turn. Go ahead and try that out, and let me know what questions you have. Awesome. Thank you guys so much.